My name is Michael. I'm from Prague, which is in Czech Republic. I am my age is 20 years, and currently I'm in the last year of the high school. If I remember correct, then the corona came here to the Czech Republic early 2020. It was spring, or I believe even winter yet. And the measures that came in, it was a hard lockdown, pretty hard lockdown. Yeah, currently right now there is even harder lockdown that has ever been before. Curfew, there is definitely. After 9 o'clock at night, we are not able to go out. People must wear a mask. When they are in subway or in tram, bus, they must have a respirator on them, not just mask, a respirator. The schools are closed. We are all on the online lessons. True is, some big fabrics are open. The big food shops are open also, which is understandable. But what is not understandable that the small food shops that are very important, they are closed with basically no. Well, I don't actually understand it why they are still closed. When the corona crisis began, I understand why they are closed. But right now, in the situation that we are, it's kind of confusing. All of this is very confusing. I more feel offended. I will explain this. At the start, government was kind of supported, but that was in early 2020. They created a special measures. Nobody understands why. One of government's men, he was currently what's the best word to say? Minister of Health, I think. He said that he will close every single restaurant. And that same minister, 2 days later, went to restaurant, which should be closed, as he said, but it wasn't. Therefore, people lost trust in government. I will talk currently about the current problem. Our prime minister wants to cancel final exams of the high schools and let just the marks talk. What marks you get from the past 4, 6, 8 years, that will be your final mark. And by me, I don't want this. It feels supportive, but I don't want to be supportive, because after this, we will be in advantage and disadvantage at the same time, because we will pass the final exams with no problem, but there will be no proof that we did them. And currently we are studying pretty hard, even though it might be a little bit easier, but I doubt that there will be way more people who will not pass the final exam than if it was normal exam. I believe from my perspective, my class is well prepared for the final high school exams, and I have no doubt we will pass them. So that's it. I am very much dissatisfied. Well, it's because we are in a loop. First of all, our government creates a law to prevent people from getting sick. 2 days later, 3 days later, in the same week, they changed the law absolutely without a reason. People got confused. People stopped trusting government. Therefore, way more people get sick. Therefore, government must bring another law that they will be changed after soon. Therefore, we are in this circle. And it's even worse because our prime minister is, well, not the best prime minister, trying not to be very offensive. Well, he personally said that he will measure the vaccination, but it's not working. Well, our prime minister is not the best, and I do not support him for many things he has done. I had to believe that there's someone who would measure things better, because in the current, when we are in current situation, well, this is my point of view. I think as long as the corona crisis is, our prime minister should stay prime minister, because if we would change prime minister, it would raise even more chaos that he could ever raise. I said that at the September we should have a new prime minister without a doubt. I'm just saying that he shouldn't leave right now. Yeah, this will be very confusing because there is a lot of fake news here in Czech Republic, and it's hard to find the truth. So the vaccination process has already started. We have vaccinations from other countries because we didn't develop it ours. And I don't know if this is true or not, but our prime minister has promised a lot of money and a lot of money donated to develop this vaccine. But I don't know if this money he promised ever come to the right place. Yes, vaccines are available here, but I will say another thing. I'm not 100% sure, but lots of people are saying that we have like 28,000 vaccines on the stock that are not being used. Our prime minister is saying that that's a lie, but let's be honest, lots of things that our prime minister says is not exactly true. And yes, people are being vaccinated, and the first man who was vaccinated was surprisingly our prime minister Andrej Babiš. And the second, I believe that the second person who was vaccinated was run really one old and really famous woman, and I believe that if the woman was vaccinated first, I think that would build more trust than ever. The people who are older than 80 should be vaccinated very soon. Also, the doctors and basically everyone who works in the hospital, I believe they are vaccinated or will be vaccinated very soon, I hope. And I think that even the people who are in the worst situation of the corona disease should be vaccinated also as quickly as possible. And there is kind of problem because there was some kind of shopping with vaccines that the families and the friends of some higher politics in here in Czech Republic were vaccinated, even though they are nowhere in any of the section I spoken of. Me personally, I stayed at home. I am on the online lessons from the school. Uh, my but my but my father and mother are still going to work. My mother is working in a non-profit organization. She is working with a children who cannot see very well. She has sometimes home office, but she goes normally to work. My father, on the other hand, doesn't have home office. He was going normal to work until our whole family got coronavirus. Therefore, we all were at home and we were on the quarantine. I believe that we are currently in a stable situation around money. I mean, we don't have exactly. I don't. We don't have exactly much money, but we can live without any problem. Possibly the biggest fear I have is that our prime minister is gonna do something really bad that will leave our country in the corona crisis way longer than it could be. And the second fear I have is that our prime minister is gonna use this situation to gain even more power, and we will not be able to deal with. We will not be able to do anything with it. It's a little bit weird and irrational because the corona crisis is here for how long? Year and longer. And since we are at home, yes, we sometimes can go outside, but we are at home. We cannot go anywhere, and my insanity is growing a little bit. I am definitely not the same man I was before the crisis. It's not as bad yet, but I am well. I'm not in perfect mental state, not 100% mental state, like 90% of my mental state. So that's it. As I've spoken, when the corona crisis came to our country last year, the government put a hard lockdown, and it was good. The coronavirus, basically, first wave of corona passed our country without notice. In that case, we were truly best in COVID. I approve that. But as the second wave, third wave come, the measures begin being chaotic, kind of nonsense. Lots of people get sick without no reason. Because of that, another measures that were chaotic came in, and in these days, it's non-understandable for me. If the hard lockdown come or earlier this year, we may not be as bad as in this situation we are currently. So I don't approve the measures that are currently. To be fair, I don't know what I would do because I'm not an epidemiologist, but I don't approve these measures. Save the lives, definitely. If you care about the economy and the state of the country, you need to find a really good middle way that you can save the lives and the economy at the same time. But currently, that is not much possible. If you get a strict lockdown, you can save a lot of lives. And if you are sure that the crisis is at the end and it will never come back, you can end the strict lockdown and open up the economy and make everything for it that it returns to its former glory. My friends, that is really that's kind of hard to tell because of the lockdown. I cannot see my friends as normal as I would. Uh, but we we have uh, we have figured it out. At least in our drama club, I go into drama club, and we are doing we are doing a stream, and we are streaming to all other people who are home, and there we can little bit talk about the situation. They they also see it. They see it in a familiar way as I, but we don't we don't talk about it in a hard way. But we are trying to see it in a we are trying to see it in a fun way, in a comedy, because that is what we do here in the Czech Republic. We see if we see things as a comedy, we can deal with them way better than if we see them like they do. We know how bad it is, but in but we look at it in a fun way and we can deal with them in a fun way too. Yes, they were demonstrations and there will be demonstrations. The problem is that in the end of 2020, the demonstrations were quite correct. On some of the demonstrations, people were using the government rules. They were they were quite far away of each, and they were using masks. But there are some demonstrations currently in early 2021, which they are people who don't use any rules of the government. They don't wear masks. And to be fair, I've seen some of the parts of the demonstration on internet, and well, in my eyes, it was nonsense what they were saying. It was the same way as saying as as Elon as if Elon Musk put in his vaccines nanodroids to control us. It was familiar fake news. It was familiar nonsense, but people were there, and I I won't talk about this. I won't talk about this because if the people are there and they believe it, I'm not gonna talk into their believing. To be fair, I don't know any friends or my schoolmate that has this that has a controversial opinion. So lots of people I know they don't like these measures, they don't understand them, but they use them. They wear masks, they are using the safety measures, they are okay with it. But that doesn't mean they like it. It's hard to tell. I think that both are coming to they are coming to surface. It it's really hard to tell. To be fair, I'd rather not I'd rather not think about the future, about the corona crisis, because my imagination is really big, and the ways I would picture it would be either utopistic or very unpleasant. So I rather not think about this in a long way. But I believe that it will be good. I think it won't be as good as it used to be, but it still could be good. I would say that the world will be definitely different than it used to be. This is kind of uh, this is kind of out of the topic. Every time a world there is a world changing situation, either the good, either the bad, the world changes, and I would say it prepares for it adapts. So during this during this corona crisis, I would say that lots of countries and a lot of people will be starting to be interested in the health. I believe that WHO will be on the lookout, and they will be prepared so that nothing similar would happen ever again. There's a lot of people will learn, and we could sit here and talk about this for the next 2 hours. So I will pinpoint the few things that the people from my country could learn. People from other countries can learn similar things or different things, but I think that here in Czech Republic, we learn that some people that we used to trust, they say we should drink water, and they themselves drink wine if it's understandable. We learned how we learned that this is a lot. There's a lot of things I talk about the politics, but the politics is the thing that should be talked about in this situation. We learned a lot about the trust.